Football across Minnesota time. Last time of the year, Chip. Parting is such sweet sorrow. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you, Mikey?
I'm good. Yeah, last one of these. Feels like the football season flies by. It's already December. Good one though for the last one. Mankato, Minnesota State Mankato. Man, they are knocking them down right now.
Yeah, it was second straight upset walk-off winner in the playoffs. And I talked to Todd Hoffner and a couple players, Todd Hoffner, their coach, and a couple players. This really started after they lose their regular season finale against Minnesota Duluth by 14 points. They finished 8-3. There's a lot of speculation that they're not even going to get in. I talked to the kicker, Matthew Jager. He said he thought the season was done. Um, there's no automatic qualifiers in Division Two, so it's all by committee and rankings and kind of I don't know what the entire formula is, but there was some doubt about whether they were going to get in, and they did get in the following day, Sunday night. Saw they're going to have to play Augustana. And Todd Hoffner said, my team needs something. We got to have some kind of psychological thing to kind of reset this, get them back.
Yeah.
It was a bad loss. Maybe the season didn't go the way they wanted. And so he calls a team meeting Monday mornings, next day, 7 a.m. And players line up, and he's at the door, and he says, "Hi, I'm Coach Todd Hoffner. Nice to meet you. Where are you from?" And each player had to introduce himself, say where they're from, give them something. And the assistant coaches were doing the same thing. It was a meet and greet like they had never met. And the symbolism was, hey, this is a brand new thing, new season, new start, whatever happened. This is a reset. And he said the mood kind of lifted. Guys were smiling about it. And I asked Matthew Jager, who's kicked 2 walk-off winners back-to-back, I said, yeah, did it kind of reset? He said, well, ironically and unfortunately, I missed the meeting. He said, he said, it's ironic because the only time I've ever been late to a meeting was my very first day at Mankato 2.5 years ago. And he missed this one, but then the players had a meeting later that week, just them, and they said, you know what, no matter what happened this season, we've really got to lean into this. We're a good team. We just have to really, believe that we can do this. And they go and first week they beat Augustana on a walk-off winner, and then last week they're at Colorado State Pueblo, which is the number 1 seed in the region.
Yeah.
They're down 10 again, make another comeback, and they kick a winning field goal with 1 second left. And so they advance to the third round now, and they will play Bemidji State in a matchup of NSIC rivals. And Bemidji State's done the same thing. They have knocked off the 2 and 3 seeds in the region, so on the road. So nobody probably would have predicted this game coming up that 2 NSIC teams will be playing in the third round, but Mankato is going to host on Saturday. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of creative thing that Todd did, Hoffner, to kind of, more than just give a speech about this being a new season, to actually kind of go through and have a meet and greet where guys were lined up coming into the building and they had to introduce themselves to the coaching staff.
Sure.
I thought that was kind of cool.
And it is cool, yeah, and it is certainly cool that they're playing Bemidji. I mean, so third round, does that get you into the
Quarters.
quarterfinals after you win?
I'm pretty sure this is the quarterfinals.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So this would be, I think this is the quarterfinals. So
For a spot in the semis. Wow.
A spot in semis in Division Two, and it speaks to how good and neither one of those teams were seeded in the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe that speaks to how difficult that conference is, and they kind of beat up on each other, and you have some losses. But both of them have caught, and both of them were trailing. Bemidji this past weekend, they were down, I think 19-7 to Western Colorado, and in the second half, and they had 19-7 in the third quarter, and they had a big comeback, and so including a fumble return for a touchdown with a few minutes left. So both these teams have had to kind of dig deep to keep their season alive.
And no matter what, there'll be a Minnesota team, Cinderella team, kind of advancing into the much deeper than we thought. Well, that's super cool. Maybe some game balls, and then kind of wrap up wrap up the season.
I got 4 game balls here. Quinn Carroll, Gophers offensive. He played offensive right tackle a lot during the year. They moved him to right guard. When Ariante Ursery went out in the first series at Wisconsin, PJ Fleck asked Quinn Carroll to move to left tackle. He had never played left tackle in his life. He told us that after a game. It's like, never left tackle like in college or never in your life. He said, never even going back to Pop Warner, Edina, nothing. Never had rep there. And so, but he slides over there and has just a really strong game as Gophers absolutely dominated the trenches in that big win for them.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, I thought, was just fantastic at the end. Obviously, this game ball is not predicated on the first half of their offense, but after they got booed that 3 and out, Sam came back 12 of 17, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, some really clutch throws into tight windows that helped them get that offense going and get the win and come back.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Matthew Yeager, Minnesota State Mankato kicker, second straight week with a game winner at the buzzer, 4 field goals Saturday that he made, and he also, for the second consecutive week, they successfully converted an onside kick that they had to have. So that's 2 weeks in a row that they've done that. And he said he hadn't even attempted an onside kick, or he hadn't successfully completed one since he was at Armstrong High School.
Wow.
So a big deal there. And then lastly, Max Brosmer, tough conditions. I mean, it was frigid there in Madison. Wind was swirling, and you would have known it by the way he threw the ball. 17 to 26, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. Basically, Gopher started running in fourth quarter when they had it. His numbers would have looked even better. And Pro Football Focus made him the highest graded quarterback in the Power 4 this weekend. So a really good game by him. And so there are our game balls.
Another successful season of football across Minnesota. I'm sure this will be back next year. Every story is just like your kids. You can't pick a favorite, but do you have anything that stands out from the year that you want to revisit really quick?
Yeah, I mean, I love doing football across Minnesota. I love the reaction we've gotten from viewers. This is year 4, and I have every intention to keep this going because I think it's such a cool thing to be able to do for our company to shine a spotlight on some, stories that we might not get to. I don't know if I have a favorite. I love the violin player, high school player that we did early in the season. Chip Lowmiller, getting to spend a day with him as a fire chief up in northern Minnesota. I don't know if there's a favorite, but I will say that I'm just so appreciative of the help that I get from, the schools, the teams that allow us to kind of create this brand with football across Minnesota. And it's something that I love getting to do every week. So it's always kind of bittersweet when it comes to the end because the football season's over. And I just love being able to tell stories from all levels of football in the state.
Awesome. Well, it's been fun talking to you about it all year. Let's plan to do this again next year, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon about stuff other than football across Minnesota as you kind of veer back into more of the other stuff as well. So, Chip, great work as always. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Mikey.